Good morning, Mortgage Coach community. Dave Savage coming live every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Pacific, interviewing amazing people. And I am super pumped for this interview because I have just met Crystal. She was introduced to me by Brittany Hodak, the one and only, who I've interviewed multiple times. Crystal, welcome to the Mortgage Coach community.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
I am looking forward to learning from you, just having our little prep conversations. I've learned a lot from you, so I can't imagine what I'm going to learn over the next hour. So for people that don't know you, I think a few people in our community do. They might have seen you speak for Berkshire Hathaway. They might have seen you speak in the real estate industry for NAR, because I know you have spoken to big real estate groups. But I know your backstory. One of the reasons why I wanted to interview is you're outside the space. You know, you are providing leadership and keynotes to companies like Google and Microsoft and big companies. So tell us a little bit about your backstory, and then let's get into the mortgage industry.
Sure. So my background was in sales and marketing. That's what I did in corporate America. I was really, really good at sales. So good that I had to sandbag because I was afraid that I'd get my goals up. So I know, the sales arena. But where things get interesting and where this connection technology came in is that when I was working in sales and then moved over to a sales and marketing position, I was in charge of my organization's e-channels. Okay. So that was the beginning of the technology piece. And there's this little thing called social media that was at its infancy. And I remember going to my boss in my early 20s, and he was a little bit more senior than I. And I said, hey, there's this thing called social media. And I have a feeling that eventually companies are going to start using this thing, because at the time they weren't. And I said, and when they do, it's going to be huge, because people can build relationships with brands, and professionals within their roles can reach out to people. And my boss, and again, we have to forgive him because this wasn't happening yet. This was me seeing into the future. Said, look, kid, you're cute and you make us a bleep load of money. He didn't say bleep. He said, stick to what you know. So from there, I opted to start a digital marketing firm because everything in me said, this is going to be huge, Crystal. And this was back in MySpace days. And so that was the beginning of my journey through digital. And it started off with me showing people and organizations how to connect better on social media. But then it expanded because social media is not its own. There's no such thing as a social media policy in terms of marketing. You have a marketing plan, and social media is a piece of it. Just like there's no such thing as a phone strategy itself. It's part of the marketing plan. So that was the beginning of my journey. And then since then I've had the pleasure to speak to organizations of many different types, but I also do a lot in the real estate and financial services community in the country and in Europe and Africa and Asia as well.
I love that. I love that backstory. It's interesting. My backstory with technology came, I was into sales and marketing. Mm-hmm. I'm also ADD and dyslexic. So spelling is not my thing. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with technology because of spell check, I can meet with someone, I can send a letter and it doesn't have spelling errors. Mm-hmm. I love it. Yes. Is there any other why? Because I think that why makes sense, but was there any other why you fell in love with the blend of technology and sales and marketing? Is there anything else beneath that?
There is a huge why for me. And it's really because I love technology, not because I love hardware or software, but because I love people. And I've understood through my own life, through my clients, how technology can almost turn us into superhumans. It allows us to do things we can't normally do. I don't know how many people have watched Antoine Fisher. I had that story before that movie came out, finding part of my own family, my own father and his side of the family using social media. And that's how we connected. And I have a wonderful relationship with them now. So there's a whole story behind that. But additionally, I've seen people grow businesses, people who are wallflowers who didn't even know where to start. My own business, when I quit my corporate job and folks thought I was crazy. They were like, you're going to leave all this money and start a digital marketing firm with social media. Meetup and Facebook were the tools that I used. I built an entire community of 500 people that would meet monthly. And it was funneling into my business. That was great. It was building my husband, who at the time was my boyfriend's photography business. But I was watching them build each other's businesses. So I know the power of using this in between normal interactions, those phone calls, those face-to-face, those handwritten cards, nothing gets rid of those things. But when we look at some of these other forms of technology, it allows us to better connect with people in between those connections so we stay top of mind. But not only that, we can touch people in some unique ways. You know, I keep track of what people are doing on social media. And if I know they're having a hard time, sometimes my own clients, I'll send them a gift, but my gifts are so customized because I really know them. I know I have a client who absolutely loves bacon. So when COVID-19 hit, and he had actually 5 brick and mortar businesses, by the way. And because they're all in the travel industry, all of them were impacted. Okay. I mean, hundreds of employees. I sent him a bacon basket that was about bacon relaxation. So he had a bacon coloring book and a bacon candle. And he sent me the most beautiful text message where he was just talking about he's in tears with how thoughtful. It allows us to connect in very unique and personal ways, Dave, which is contrary to what many of us think about this technology.
I love that. Would you say it's fair to say, because I know when I first saw social media, I was like, this is the modern day CRM or an extension of CRM. Because I was also an entrepreneur in the multi-channel place. I had a company called Smart Reply that focuses on mobile marketing. And I saw that landlines are going away and to communicate via mobile, social. Now, I didn't see social becoming as prolific as today, but I saw it as like, this is the modern day CRM or this is the extension to the CRM. Do you align with that?
I see it as an extension. And actually, when I teach, like there's some courses that I teach as well as some keynotes that I do where I teach people how to use social media along with the CRM. The information you're getting out of social media, you're getting people's birthdays, you're getting people's preferences. You know, if they like red wine or if they don't drink it all for whatever reason, or if they have 3 grandbabies or new twin grandbabies, you want to send custom I Love Nana bows to. There's all of this data that you're getting, but we don't use it in a spooky way. I mean, I have one client, interestingly enough, she's in financial services, but I think mortgage or overlapping as well in that. And she has a favorite team. And I know that because she's with a financial services firm, I have to be careful about the price of the gifts that I give her, right? We want to be mindful of the industries people are in. And so I just found these really nice, a Lego set that was limited edition that featured her favorite players, sent that to her. It wasn't expensive, but she was so excited. And I told her, hey, I noticed on Twitter, you're always tweeting about blah, blah, blah. I thought this would be a perfect fit for you. So it is an extension of the CRM and it allows us to have touch points with people. And if we're smart, we'll put those touch points back in the CRM as well, because all it's doing is it's helping us do what we do in normal life. We're building relationships with our friends and family, but with work, we're extended to so many people, we can't remember everything for all these people. So it allows us to just be more thoughtful humans.
I love that. Let's be more thoughtful humans. And that's something that I don't think will ever go away. People like humans and they like stories. They like to connect. So that brings up a question that I ask just about everybody that gets on this stage. And I try to interview mostly top performing loan officers and people in the industry that are just executing. And I always ask them this question, but I want to ask you, because you come from outside of the industry, I want to see if you answer it differently or if you put some nuances around it. But how has COVID changed the way people communicate, and why does that matter to mortgage professionals? So just put some color around that from your perspective, and don't try to tailor this for the mortgage industry. Whatever you say, I'll connect it. But how do you answer that?
So a couple different ways. The obvious way is that now we're doing more virtual meeting. That's the most obvious way across the board, right? Now, where this gets interesting is we kind of have to dig deeper on that aspect. So there's a few spikes off of that wheel, okay? So when we talk about communicating more virtually, it's changed the definition of what business professional is. Because once upon a time, business professional is wearing a certain amount of clothes, you're meeting in an office, this or that. We're seeing inside people's homes. You know, you're seeing the dog bark. I had a conversation recently with a client and she was breastfeeding her kid under a blanket. You know, this is the world we live in now. And so we can't pretend that we're in 2019. And what it means is that now we almost have a more casual relationship with our business contacts. We know a little bit more about them, and not in a weird way, but we have to acknowledge the fact that things have shifted a little. But the thing that probably changed things the most, that I know you said don't tailor it to the audience, but I think this applies to our loan officers, people in the mortgage industry, and many other people, is that clients are getting a taste of something different. And not all of them want to go back. I was recently doing some research for one of my clients where I'm speaking to financial advisors. And what we're finding is that even in those states where they can do meetings and they're trying to encourage them to come back, people like the efficiency of being able to get on a quick 15-minute Zoom instead of having a 30-minute meeting. People like having virtual tours. We're actually seeing more homes being sold via virtual tours than we've ever seen before in the past. I have another client in real estate where we actually did a poll before and even after I spoke, and it was amazing how many of them started doing virtual tours that had never done them before I spoke. And one of them within, I want to say about 2 weeks, sold 2 homes that way. So we're seeing this increase. And so we have to think what's happening right now is not just going to go away when we get this COVID-19 situation under control. Hybrid is here to stay. We're going to have to figure out how to deal with the fact that some of our clients will want to come back to our offices or will want to do things a little differently. Meanwhile, others, they're going to like the efficiency of this virtual thing, and they're not going to want to come back.
I love that. And that does align well. I've asked a lot of top performing loan officers that question, and they're all using Zoom. They're all using Mortgage Coach, our platform more. Anything they can do to connect and educate virtually, obviously in COVID times, they have to do.
Right.
Let's face it, grandma loves Zoom now too. So no matter what the demographic is, everybody is virtually connecting, but it aligns with what I'm hearing. So I want to drill down on that a little bit. So one thing I'm hearing, and I've had multiple top producers tell me that it's literally saving me half the time. So what might have taken me 45 minutes to an hour in person, I'm able to do in 20 to 30 minutes in Zoom. And while it's not the same connection and relationship trust accelerator, it's like 70%. So would you say that aligns with what you're hearing in other industries also?
Oh, definitely. But a lot of it, and we'll talk about this, I know a little bit more as we go along, Dave, a lot of it has to do with the quality of that online meeting, because they're not all created the same, right? And so when there's agenda beforehand and when it's very catered to the other person, so not just the agenda in terms of this is the way I do things in my processes, but also making sure that you're personalizing things, that it's not just standard things thrown on there, that you're mirroring that connection back at themselves, that client back at themselves. So you can actually have a different type of relationship with your clients, but it can be just as positive, if not more so. And really in this environment, I actually think it's easier to get referrals because you're showcasing your expertise in a smaller amount of time. There's a lot of visuals involved because we have to have more visuals because we're not meeting in person, right? And so with people already thinking along this, you're already digital, you're already at your computer. So if during this conversation, one of your conversations, you're saying, okay, we're getting this done for you, we're looking at this refi. Hey, do you know anybody else that would benefit from this right now? They're already oftentimes at their laptop or they're already meeting with you via their smartphone. It only takes them a second to get the information in there or connect you via email to someone else. And so there's really some hidden advantages to this if we're willing to be open and take advantage of it.
I love that. So I have some more questions for you, but I want to just I want to get some important questions out of the way before I just start throwing speedballs at you.
Okay.
Also, Mortgage Coach community, I want to remind you, this is a mastermind. So if you're watching this in Zoom, put a question in comments. If you're watching this in Facebook, put a question in comments. If you're watching the recording of this in YouTube and you have a question that you want to make sure we hit, I hope this is not my last interview with Crystal, and her and I will both be paying close attention over the next 24 hours to make sure all your questions get answered. So mastermind with us and push us. So let's take it from this direction. I know myself, I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I've never been on more stages. It used to be I'd fly, I'd have some downtime, I'd crunch some emails, I'd go on a stage, I'd do some networking. And now I'm on a stage every day speaking to hundreds of people. And I know loan officers, there's refi mania taking place right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you know that, but I mean, there's a refi tidal wave. So everybody is super overwhelmed. And at the same time, it's never been more important that they're building clients for life. I know you use the term business relationships, but I'm like, guys, this is the time to build clients for life.
Right.
So what are some thoughts on that?
So I get it. I mean, and you talk about, I mean, I have friends in the mortgage industry. One of my closest cousins is in the mortgage industry. I haven't been able to talk to her for months. She's just overwhelmed. We send text messages from time to time. I'm like, please remember to eat, right? That's the best I can do. She's a branch manager as well. So I understand that people in the mortgage industry are extremely busy right now. As a speaker like you, Dave, I think we're probably actually unicorns. Many of our peers are having a hard time right now. I'm with you. I'm cranking them out. You know, and it's probably because I speak on technology, so it makes
Well, I was
sense.
going to say you're a futurist, and tech, and you're a salesperson, so you're connecting tech with
Right.
that's a hot
Right.
product to be selling in today's market.
Right. So I'm with our mortgage people. So we're some of these really rare people who should be very thankful right now that we're not having the same experiences as some other people, right? But here's what's interesting. These times will not last always. So while we are kicking it right now, I'm sure you're exceeding your goals. I'm exceeding my goals. Everybody that's watching us is probably, they're probably trying to find additional people to help them with their teams. They're probably hiring assistants for their assistants at this point. But my point is this is not going to last always. And we have to dig our wells before we are thirsty. So even if that means that you bring on a college student to help you maintain those connections, to write handwritten notes on your behalf, to check in with people and just say, hey, I'm reaching out, from the office today. He just, he was thinking about you. He wanted me to just check and make sure, you had 2 kids going to college right now. Are they okay? Is there, any resources that you're looking for right now? Maybe we know somebody. Any little thing you can do, if you can take even 15 minutes out of your day to connect with one person, just 15 minutes out of your day. It could be a realtor, it could be a financial planner, any type of referral partner, past client, however you want to look at it. Because again, these times while we're rocking and rolling right now are not always going to be like that. And the relationships that you forge now, while everyone else is too busy to worry about it, they're just servicing, right? These relationships are going to carry you when the market shifts because we want you to stay busy. And it's all about making sure that we're keeping that pipeline going by maintaining our relationships. So we're top of mind with all of our past clients. We're top of mind with all of our referral partners.
I couldn't agree more. And I see a couple questions that have come in, guys. I am going to get to those. Keep the questions coming. So just because I'm passing on a couple right now, I will get to those. I think it's pronounced Mary or Mary. I will get to your question. So let's talk about just reaching out. I know, let's focus on referral partners like realtors, CPAs, our alpha, past client that is a business person that could refer a lot of folks. Is reaching out a little weird right now, or is it awkward or wrong, or can we just reach out and have small talk?
Well, I think so. I don't want to put a judgment on it, but if you were to ask the people that are with us right now, Dave, you're going to see a myriad of answers. I have presentations where I have these funny surveys where people describe how they feel about contacting people. And it ranges from everywhere from, I do it all the time, no problem, to Crystal, please don't make me do this. Like there's a whole range, right? Where people are scared because they're afraid they're going to put their foot in their mouths. Because Dave, the foundation of how we understand the world has shifted twice in 2020. We've had 2 major events that have shook how we look at everything, from COVID-19 to Human Rights 2020. That's what I call it because we have to call it something that's going on right now in the US and actually international. And so because people don't quite know where people are at, are they still struggling? Are they having a million kids at home? They're homeschooling. Are they sick? I don't know. You have a little bit of fear from some people, but I want to help everybody get over that. If you feel even a little uncomfortable, I'm going to show you why you don't need to worry. All right. So what I want everybody to do is focus in, and I want you to remember a time when you were a child. So go back to a time when you were a kid. And I want you to remember a time when one of your elders, maybe your dad or mom or grandmother, grandfather, they made you toast. Okay. Now, I want you to think back on that toast, and maybe they put jelly, marmalade, butter, whatever. I want you to think back to how that toast tasted to you. Okay? Now, keep that memory. Now, I want you to think about times when you've made toast with the exact same ingredients. Here's the truth for you. Your toast never tastes as good as their toast. Why is that? I don't know, other than the fact is we can taste people's intention on our food. We can make the exact same things one of our elders make. Even right now, we can taste the intention. Now, Dave, you've been here. Everybody watching us has been here too. We've all had people who have approached us, and without even saying a word, we know their intention's off. Like you just feel like, oh, this person's about to try to milk me. You feel the intention. So I say all that to say this. Right now, you can reach out because you are offering solutions that help people. As long as your intention is genuinely to help. So I can't help you have the right intention, right? But if your intention is truly to be of service, and that might mean that you get to refinance a loan or to do a loan for someone, or it might mean that you're just giving them a resource you've heard about for homeschooling or a resource for adult daycares, whatever that is. As long as your intention is just genuinely be helpful, people will feel it and you're less likely to run into issues. And so I want to encourage everybody, don't be in your head too much. I've had clients I've reached out to just to see if they were okay. And they've had whole therapy sessions. And I'm not a therapist, so I can't give anyone direction. They just needed someone to listen. I've had people that have needed help with homeschooling. Now, this is going to sound strange. Most of my clients are corporations and associations, but I actually do a lot of work with Mennonite USA, random, right? I know. Well, Mennonites actually have really good homeschooling resources. So one of my clients, I referred over those resources because I knew about them. So reaching out to help people doesn't even mean it has to be necessarily connected to your area of expertise. Of course, from a business perspective, you might even be thinking, well, Crystal, what sense does that make? It makes the difference because you become an expert in your eyes and they have a real relationship with you. Who are you referring people to? Your friends or just somebody that you know that can service them? So that's what makes the difference. And that's what's going to make the difference when the market shifts, because people will remember you. So it doesn't have to be weird, but don't be extra salesy. Ask questions and care. Ask how people are doing. Don't pretend like all this weird stuff isn't happening in the world, because then we look cheesy. Then we look weird.
I love that. I'm going to unpack this a little bit because it aligns with a question that came up in our community over the weekend. James Freeman made a post and he said, if a loan officer decided to start calling, what's a simple 20 to 30 second pitch that you suggest for him? And guys, I want you to get this takeaway. Your intentions matter. Mm-hmm. And that has to do with Human Rights 2020. If you're coming from a good place and your intentions matter, it's all good. And when it comes to being a mortgage professional, if you're a transactional loan officer and your goal is get your social security number, deliver your rate, payment, cash to close, and get a commission check, you know what? Cold calling is going to be hard because you're chasing commission checks and you're chasing people to say yes, you can refinance my house and save me a monthly payment. But if you go beyond the transaction and you're a mortgage professional, that when you help a family, you ask them, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your goals? Mm-hmm. And then you actually deliver a strategy that goes beyond just a transaction. You're gonna show up different in the world. You know, same thing goes with self-defense. If you know how to defend yourself and you're strong and you're healthy, you're gonna show up different in the world. So guys, I hope you got that. Intentions matter. Your skill matters. I am going to take just a minute to remind people that when it comes to a refinance, you know, this is Amber Kovark, and I think I've literally promoted her every week since the 3 weeks ago that I interviewed her, but it's just because she's doing it right. She's putting a video on it so that she's connecting with people. She's going beyond the transaction. She didn't need to do that. When she does the refinance, she's not just saying, hey, here's your monthly savings. She's saying, hey, here's a strategy to pay off your home faster and become debt-free faster, which, by the way, guys, families like that. People don't get mortgages because they want mortgages. People get mortgages because they want homes. People get homes because they want lifestyle and they want to build wealth. You know, they want to have financial freedom someday. So guys, just remember that your intentions matter. If you are powered with all that, you're going to get after it. You're going to network. And I could go on this. And I guys promise I will get to your questions. Someone did ask about that little piece of toast that popped up. Like, how did you do that? Like, I know a few ways of doing that, but how did you make that toast pop up?
So I use something called Prezi Video for my presentations, which actually means, let's go back and show. Here's my toast. So I use Prezi Video, which allows me to share my screen with basically in my camera. So I can kind of have this picture-in-picture situation going on. It's very simple to use. It doesn't require a lot of extra switchers or things like ATEM Mini and all those different things that you can use to put picture-in-picture. One of the things, Dave, we'll touch on, I know probably even a little bit later, but we've spoke about this briefly before here, so we'll get everybody else in on this, is that as a technology strategist, what probably sets me apart a little bit is that I believe in simplified, sleek solutions, because the more things you have hooked up to any one system means the more opportunities for a breakdown. So you want the fewest solutions that integrate seamlessly. And so for me, rather than becoming my own personal AV company, which I can do, I have the knowledge to be able to use all these tools and hook them up. I wanted something that was already software and integrated beautifully with Zoom, which is what I primarily use. So just know that you don't have to have all the coolest gadgets. You need the gadgets that work the best and look the most polished. And so again,
and integrate well. And hopefully you guys got the nuance. She said Prezi Video. So Prezi itself does not integrate with Zoom yet, although I'm sure it will someday. But Prezi Video, which I have to learn more on that. So I did not know that, Crystal. So I got a little takeaway here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what are some, you had something else to say?
Yeah, if I can throw something else out there. If there's anyone else who's ever used Prezi Next, because there's different versions of Prezi. Prezi Next was the last one that was released before Prezi Video. You can convert that into video as well. So just want people to know that if you've already built presentations, I know some of you are PowerPoint people, some of you are Keynote people, and that's okay. I'm not trying to put something else new on you. But if you already used Prezi Next, which there's probably a few of you who have, you can actually integrate that so that it works this exact same way.
Love that. So guys, I want to put that under the category of how to teach. So let's assume you've already met with someone, you're doing a Zoom event, you're doing a Facebook Live. Mortgage Coach is a great platform to teach financial strategies. What you just saw is a great way to do it. As I showed a minute ago, I went and I shared my desktop and I showed a keynote. I could have showed a web page. So let's put that under educate and build relationships. Create wow once you're engaged. So here's a question for you. What are some cool software tools you recommend to outreach? Like, we want to get people on the Zoom. We want to get people into a conversation. Any suggestions there?
Well, so for outreach, there's a few tools that I recommend because they'll make you look polished. Now, let me just say that I'm assuming that everyone's using a CRM, okay? I think that's kind of baseline. That's the reason I didn't put it on here. We're assuming that everyone uses that. Obviously, I have to put in Mortgage Coach. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm here with you, because Dave can tell you when he ran me through all that Mortgage Coach could do, I was wowed because I've spoken in the mortgage industry before. I hadn't seen the detail, and it really turned you all almost into, it's not fully, but almost like mini financial planners in the process, right? Like you have an edge to that. So it puts you as more of a consultant than just someone who's selling a solution, which is brilliant because now you're an expert and everybody wants to do business with experts. No one wants to do business with people that are in sales, right? So assuming you already have the CRM there, we have Mortgage Coach because that gives you some of the tools that you need to connect. I want to encourage you to fully embrace video. Some of you have taken it and run with it, but I've also looked at some of the comments in the community and I've seen that some people, they're a little hesitant. They don't know how they feel, how they're going to look. Don't worry about those things. At the end of the day, think about business. So the two tools I would recommend in addition to that for video, BombBomb. And I know BombBomb has competitors as well. I don't have a special relationship with BombBomb. That's just what I use because I find it to be the best tool at what it does in terms of allowing you to create instant videos. I want to encourage you to utilize more and more video in your email than just text. Because remember, we're not meeting with people face to face as much as we used to. Some of you not at all, depending on where you live, right? But what happens is when you create these videos, and maybe you have a presentation that's attached that you want them to look at, or maybe there's some charting that you're sending them, but start off explaining it with the video. You know, hey, Beth, I wanted to follow up with you on our conversation yesterday. I ran a few numbers for you. You know, look below, you'll see this attachment. Maybe talk to your husband about it. I know he was saying blah, 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 but you know, I hope this makes sense. Make sure you throw in some things that are really personalizing the information, and then go ahead and send it with the video. What that's going to do is it's, again, going to give them the feeling of face-to-face. From a brain chemical standpoint, they feel like they're having conversations with you. They're right there speaking to you in their own mind. Use that versus just simply sending emails. I know emails are quicker. The good thing is BombBomb doesn't take long. I mean, you can create a BombBomb video really in just about the same amount of time you can type. And then Zoom, because I know a lot of you actually create presentations for your clients. You know, I've listened to some of the other wonderful community videos, and what I learned was that for some of you, you know, you get the information from the client, and rather than them hearing you typing at the keyboard and running everything, you say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me get back with you with a little presentation to share what I found and what I think would be the best solutions for you, and to give you some options where you can make an intelligent decision based on your goals. All right. Well, now that you're creating this video, there's so many ways to do it. But just recording in Zoom by yourself, it can actually create some really great video. You can add in screen share, so you're showing your screen as you're doing different things. The report can be there as well. You can create something extremely dynamic, and all you have to do is record it. You can then upload it to whatever system you want to share it from there, whether you put it within YouTube or someplace else. Maybe you password protect it. Maybe you make it where only people that have the direct link can see it. There's many ways you can protect the information. But I would highly suggest utilizing video and Zoom specifically for recording your video.
Love it. So guys, there's a lot of ways of doing this. I've interviewed top producers. Jeremy Forcier uses Co-Video. Josh Metal uses BombBomb. BombBomb seems like it's trending and the most common way of doing this. Also, what Crystal just described, you could do with BombBomb. You know, you could, and I've seen mortgage coach members pull up a TCA and do a BombBomb video. You guys all know that you can do a video in Mortgage Coach. Now that is the leanest, fastest way to put numbers on a sheet of paper or digitally and add a video to it. At the end of the day, guys, there's a lot of ways of doing this. You can use Snagit. You know, I'm a big fan of TechSmith and Snagit. I mean, I use Snagit every day to like snag images that I insert into text, email. So guys, there's a lot of ways of doing this. We are a community, and I want you to post down below what you're doing, how you're using video to create outreach content. And I say the same thing I say about CRM. People always go, Dave, what's the best CRM? It's the one you use.
Yes.
Simple, like, right? I mean, I know you agree with me on that, because every great technology futurist says the same thing. You know, using the technology is most important. And the biggest problem human beings have is they don't use it, or we're slow to adopt and use it.
And you can't be slow with video. Like,
yeah, I want to spend more time on this in Mortgage Coach community. I want to get more out of it, but I also want to find out there's software and there's hardware. Mm-hmm. And what you just talked about was software.
Right.
What about hardware? What are some hardware that you recommend people use for outreach? And then let's talk about this creatively for a few minutes after you answer that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So hardware. So first thing we need is a good quality camera. Now I'm going to present some solutions because I'm a fan of presenting one solution that people can use. All of these have competitors. I have no relationship with any one of these pieces of technology. I tend to refer to things that are most user-friendly, okay? So first thing you want to get is a nice HD camera. Logitech has many good options, so that's usually one I refer to people. But again, they have competitors, it's fine. The reason why you want to get an additional camera in most cases is that many of you are probably creating videos using your desktop or your laptop. And your camera on those normally are not the best. You want to be as sharp and crisp as possible, because every video you're creating, even if it's just a one-on-one to one client, you're creating an experience. It's like they're in your office. And just like your office tells a story and sets a scene, so does the quality of your video. So understanding that most of the time, the video that's built in, it's not quite there. It's not bad. It's not quite there. Now, I'm saying this to you as someone, I'm using the camera I'm showing you right now, just so that you know, using the exact same camera. I'm using a gamer laptop. So this is a high quality laptop. I hook up my Oculus Rift and stuff. Even the camera on this, as great as it is, isn't as great as the HD camera. And the great thing is these cameras are inexpensive. You can find some of them under $100, okay? So camera number one, many of them plug up through USB right into your computer, plug and play. All right, they clip on your computer or you can put them on a little stand. Next up, you need a good quality microphone. Usually just using the microphone that's already sitting in your laptop, because of where it's located, I don't want to, you don't need to know how the sausage is made. I say that as a vegetarian, but just know that typically that's not going to give you the best sound. You can do a headset and there's nothing wrong with that, but you might not want to look like a pilot. I don't know. Or you might have hair that you don't want to smush down. So one of the things I like to recommend is the Yeti. It looks like, wait, Dave, do you have a Yeti right there?
I do.
Okay. See, I do too. Y'all see my Yeti? Boop, boop. Okay. These are really great quality audio devices. They do a beautiful job of capturing sound, and they're going to make you sound crisp. All of us have seen good quality video before where the sound was garbage and you can't deal with it. You need good quality video as well as audio to retain interest, right? For you to be interested. So I would suggest investing in something of quality if you're going to do a lot of videos. The headsets that you've been using for your phone, that's okay, but it's not as crisp as it could be. Okay. So Blue Yeti is my microphone that I'm suggesting to you, but use what works best for you. And I'd say the last piece of technology you want to consider is lighting. Now, most of the time, I'll be honest with you, I'm facing a huge window. Most of the time I use natural light. Today I'm not because it's storming outside, which actually the fact that you can't hear it storming actually tells you how good my Blue Yeti mic is, right? But I have a ring light here similar to this, and they have very small ones. You need to make sure you're lit well. And Dave, I'll give a few secrets if it's okay, because I cheat a little bit because I'm married to an international photographer, so I know a few extra things. You need the brightest light in the room to be facing you. So that's why you want like a ring light in front of you. You do not want a big window with lighting behind you. That's when you kind of look like a shadow and people can't see you well. So even if you don't have a ring light, but you have a couple lamps, that's okay. Put those in front of you. You just need the brightest light facing you and it to be dimmer behind you. Overhead lights, usually the orangey lights, they're going to make you look like a Oompa Loompa. Okay. So you probably don't want to use those as much, but those would be like my basic technology suggestions. If you have good quality camera, good sound, and good lighting, your videos are going to be really good quality just from a raw perspective. That's really the basics of what you need for any good quality video to happen.
Love that. So guys, I couldn't agree more with her. And I think we all need to look at where we work on our desk. It is a workspace, but it's now a studio. And this is not just a COVID thing. This is going forward. While I agree, I have a desk that actually connects with a window. Mm-hmm. So I can work out of that desk and have natural light. Right now, I'm also using ring lights to light me up. And here's the deal, guys. There's bad and there's good. And we all know the difference between bad and good. And then there's great and there's wow. I mean, Crystal right now is a wow. She's using an exceptional camera, exceptional mic. She just told us that she's got a husband who's in the business. So she's put all these things in the right place so that she's a wow. She's not just great. The only thing I want to add to that, guys, is we're mortgage professionals. We are out and about. And me personally, I don't like to work inside all day long. So I really want to push everybody, your camera on your phone, it's better than the camera on your desktop. And in many cases, it's even better than those Logitech. So it's one of the reasons why a mortgage coach, when you can create a video, you get to pick, like when you say create video, it's like your desktop or your mobile phone. And I always push you guys to use your mobile phone because we are out and about. And let's face it, when we get back to a hybrid life and not a COVID life, we're going to be out and about. So your camera, as a mortgage professional on your phone, get good at it. Make sure you have a badass mobile tripod. So put it in your purse. For you guys out there, you can put it in your pocket. You can put it in your bag. You make sure you do that. I do recommend, guys, you to her point, you need to have a good mic. To me, this is the best mobile mic, you know, the Apple Pro. And then one more little pro tip. This is my favorite new toy. Is, and your husband's gonna love this. So literally, it's a desktop that you could screw into a tripod.
He has one of those.
You have one?
No, my husband does.
Oh yeah. So like guys, there's been a number of times where either I don't want to record in this position in my office and I want to go outside, and either I want a nature background or I just want to work outside. Boom. You know, highly recommend it. So for the mortgage coach community, I hope the takeaway here, we've got a leader who she's not here talking to us as loan officers and real estate professionals. She's saying, hey, I talk to big companies, Google, Microsoft, in lots of different industries. You need to get good at delivering a virtual experience. And then you just choose, do I want to be, hopefully no one listening to this wants to be bad, which means the camera's turned off. That's bad. Yes. The camera's turned off, or if the light is so bad that we can't see your eyes, that's bad. Because now you're looking like you're in protective custody. You know, if people can't see your eyes, they don't trust you. Yes. So that's bad. But if you want to play wow, you need to do what Crystal said. Crystal, anything else you want to talk about on that before we get into just creative ideas?
Yes, because I think you brought us some great ideas. So I think I can help with a couple things you mentioned. Regarding seeing your eyes, that hooding over your eyes comes when the lighting source that's brightest is right above you. Then it hoods your eyes. So that's why you don't want to do video at noon outside, because the way the shadows fall, people can't see your eyes. And the other thing is, Dave, oh gosh, I'm so glad you opened this up. So for instance, I was a keynote at the Residential Real Estate Council a couple years ago for the CRSs. So these are the top 3% producing real estate agents in the world, right? And one of the things that I talked about there was the value of using video and taking it outside. And I even showed them, they had me take over their Twitter account for a couple days, and I was kind of like a reporter on the scene. And it worked so well, many of them started doing the same thing where you can even go outside with a selfie stick. And let's say that you're you can do a bomb or Zoom or whatever. If you're walking by something that's making you think of a certain client, you know, I was over here at Marble Slab, Tim, and I just thought about you because I remember you said this is your favorite place. I'm going to jump in here and get you a gift card for sending that wonderful referral last week. Just want you to know I was thinking about you, and be on the lookout for that in the mail. Something simple. Or it can be more detailed where you're giving more information as an expert. So don't be afraid to, yes, have that little tripod, Dave, like you talked about, have a selfie stick on you, have a microphone. It's so funny. I used to do, prior to COVID, sometimes clients would bring me in to do hands-on workshops where I literally brought in for every round table, all the equipment, the mics, the selfie sticks, there's ring lights you can put on your phone. And I'd have each table create videos, and we compare them at the front of the room at the end of 30 minutes and see what we've produced. Play with it and you'll get better. But the last piece, Dave, if I can say this, is someone who, again, it doesn't matter what smartphone you have. I'm team iPhone and Android, okay? So I'm one of those people with problems. I got them all. But just make sure that you're using the same rules outside as you are inside. You want your sound to be good. Make sure that there's nothing outside that's being picked up that's distracting. And again, check the lighting. So you usually want to do videos early in the day or late in the evening so that you can face the sun, so that it's more in one direction. And if you do that, your videos are going to be beautiful.
Clearly, she's married to a photographer. I was a photography minor. And so the sun in the morning and the evening is definitely, you know, makes everything more beautiful. Mm-hmm. So Todd Jarvis, you just asked about noise cancellation. I mean, guys, let's face it, when I interviewed Jeremy Forcier yesterday, or not yesterday, but last Tuesday, you know, he had this $200 bomb gaming headset that was legit. And guys, I'm a nerd and I want to be great. So I bought the thing. I don't know how often I'll use it, but I bought it because I'm that guy. But guys, this is all you need. I mean, like literally, to her point, you are going to look a little bit like a pilot. But let's face it, guys, there's a lot of pilots running around nowadays. That's a thing. Being a virtual pilot is not a bad thing.
Right.
So let's move on to creative ways. Okay, we got the camera, we got the video. Remember, guys, eye contact is the camera. Like know the difference between looking at the picture of the video of Crystal. Like if I'm looking at Crystal right now, I'm looking here.
Yes.
But if I'm looking at you, the audience, I'm looking at the camera. Do know the difference. So let's just assume we've trained ourselves around that. We got the tools, we got the software. Crystal, what are just some creative ways we can use this new superpower? Or in some case, like our community is full of ninjas that create a lot of video. Bring some creative ideas to us.
Okay, so first off, let me just touch on background real fast, and we're going to go into what you can create, okay? We're all working in different situations. Some of you are in the office, some of you aren't in the office, some of you work from home and the office, and that's really not different than before COVID-19 for many of you, right? Yes, you can reconfigure your office so it looks more fancy, or you can do what I did. Like this is actually a photography backdrop. I own probably about 20 of these bad boys. And they have a nice little background. You can't see what's going on behind here. Now, what's actually going on behind here is an amazingly clean office. But if it wasn't, you still wouldn't know. Like it could be junky and you wouldn't know. So staging is important. Now, in terms of the things that you can actually do that's creative, number one, obviously you can do your presentations. But I'm going to challenge you to upgrade your presentations. I want you to think of every single time you interact with that client, making it an experience. The way that you make things experiences for people is by customization. So if you're doing that presentation and you know they have a dog or whatever else, get that dog in there if it makes sense with some of the goals or something. Make them laugh. It doesn't always have to be serious, even for what you do. Something that's obviously very important and serious, let them see themselves reflected back. So use video for your presentations. Don't just shoot things in an email, that's just posted as attachments. Use video to explain. Use video to take them on a journey. Next, email touch. We talked about bomb, but that's a great way to not, again, we don't want to just send text because we're building relationships via digital channels. But the thing that many of you probably aren't doing yet, some of you are, but you have room to grow, is thought leadership videos. So it doesn't matter if you're putting them on LinkedIn Live or on YouTube or on Facebook. Think about where most of your clients or referral partners hang out. You tend to want to go where they are. But this is your opportunity to showcase your knowledge base. If you specialize in refi for certain groups of people, or if you just notice that most of your clients tend to fit a certain demographic, don't be afraid to niche yourself. It doesn't mean you won't still get business from other people. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I ran into a woman. She was a financial advisor. And she said, Crystal, I'm a financial advisor. Now, we all know a million of those. And I said, well, who do you serve? She said, everybody. I said, that's not a thing. I said, who are most of your clients? And she said, well, actually, most of them are women. And a lot of them kind of went through some type of life-changing situation, like a divorce, their kids just left home. I said, say that, because if you introduce yourself with that, now you stick in my mind versus the other 100 people I've met, right? And it doesn't mean that if I don't know a man who needs a financial advisor, I won't think of her, because she's still the only person that's popping up in my mind because she offers something different. And so I say this to say, when you're creating these thought leadership videos, make sure you choose a target demographic. You'll still get other people. It's like, Dave, do you remember that whole, the Pepsi generation thing in the 80s? Remember that whole campaign, the Pepsi generation?
I do.
Okay. So all of the things that they were putting out were about Gen X. They had Michael Jackson, they had, I think, Brooke Shields. They had all these different people, and it was about Gen X and how cool Gen X is. They were actually targeting baby boomers who wanted to feel younger. That was actually the whole thing, but they understood that by speaking to Gen X and making it about them, it would pull in the others too. So again, I want people to be more comfortable with the idea of niching. But as you're creating these videos, make sure that they're informative. It's not just about the call to action, which there should be. If you have more questions, give me a call. Or if you're interested in me running your numbers for you so that you can figure out your best way forward, give me a call have those things. But I want to challenge everyone, if you have not done this before, as long as it's within the rules of your organization and you're fine doing it, create a thought leadership video. And it can be a microcosm of what you normally tell people, but a little piece, because especially when we're looking at YouTube is the second largest search engine. and it's owned by the largest search engine, which is Google. Okay. YouTube is Google's baby. For SEO purposes, in other words, people trying to find mortgage loan officers in your area or whatever else, it makes you pop up higher in results. And then when it comes to you being on LinkedIn or Facebook or the other ones, you already have a community there that's looking for information from you. There's people you might be connected to that don't fully understand what you do. So it gives you an opportunity to showcase what you're capable of. So I need everybody to get over, if you're not comfortable on video, get over that. You don't have to keep looking at yourself. Just get yourself together as best as you can, but take the step of stepping out and creating something of value. And if you focus on the information and you focus on having the intention of helping people versus what you look like or how people will see you, if your intention and focus are in the right place, you're going to create better quality video. The last piece I'll say to this, Dave, is that, if you want your video to be polished up, you don't have to know how to do everything. You can use sources like Fiverr, where you can hire people starting at $5 to clean up your little video. They can create little intros or outros, very inexpensive, starting at $5, going up from there. So you don't even have to be the one to edit it and make it cutesy. You can hire someone at a low cost to polish it up if that's what you want done.
Love it, guys. So remember, put your questions down below. I'm going to give you guys an actionable idea that will take everything that Crystal has shared and just give you a roadmap that if you followed my advice over the next week to 2 weeks, you could do it in a week if you're like a AP student, and you could do it in 2 weeks if you're slow or you just don't like sitting in the front of the class. So here's the deal, guys. It would be as simple as you doing interviews, which you've heard me talk a lot about doing interviews, especially for you folks that you're not confident in just like grabbing a stage, delivering a keynote. Interview some local real estate agents. This is a playbook that I created with Craig Sewing, the founder of The American Dream, one of the top content creators and media players in the real estate and mortgage space. But it's a playbook, guys, literally how to do an interview, how to promote it on social media. So do a couple of interviews with a couple agents. Here is the content that I would push you to do. And I'm gonna pull from Amber, going beyond the transaction. Here's a big story, guys. Like, most real estate agents don't even realize how big the move up opportunity is. So if you did an interview of an agent, you broadcasted it on Facebook Live, and you shared a story of a family who was thinking about refinancing. Like, this is a family that they could have done a refi and saved $322 a month. But Amber asked the question, hey, how's this home working out for you? And this is a family that said, well, we'd kind of like another bedroom after being in this house for 4 months with kids. And now we're going to have to, do virtual school at home. One of the family members is going to be working out of the home more. They wanted more space. So refinance and stay in the same home, 322, move up into the school district and the home that they wanted, would have been an extra bedroom. It would have been 525. And their payment, they qualified for 5% down, and their payment would have been $500 more a month. Or you could buy this home, non-contingent, sell that home, take your $125,000 in equity, buy down the loan, so your monthly payment would actually go down by $164. Or, as you said, do a little bit of a financial planning move. Say, hey, that money, you could put it with your financial planner. They were getting 8%, but they said, let's look at it at 6%. And guys, here's what the family did. The family said, we're going to buy the bigger home. We're going to get the lifestyle. We're going to get 50% more cash in the bank, 60% more equity 15 years from now. And here's the deal, guys. The real estate agent gets a listing, also gets a move-up buyer. So just now, guys, I used Keynote. I used a screenshot. I could have told this story with the actual total cost analysis. So here would be my push to you guys. Get the realtor that you have the best relationship with. Get a story where you helped a family go beyond the transaction. Together, create some content, put it out there. And then, you know what? After you've done like 3 interviews, now you have the confidence and you have the content for that presentation What do you think of that? You like that idea, that playbook?
I love it. I think it's powerful. And what I love about what you said, Dave, not only is it about adding value, so there's the intention, but you're adding value to other people. Like you're talking about doing it with the realtor, right? So now they're getting some sunshine from your idea, and that builds that relationship. You're talking about sending them to the financial planner. Well, if they don't already have one, you might be able to refer one over. Maybe someone who's referred people to you. So to me, it just builds on that network of goodwill where, yes, you're helping your business, but you're putting all these other people in these key positions and giving along the way. That's where relationships come from.
Love, love, love that. And guys, someone just said, Dave, I like that keynote. If you do want anything that I just showed right now or anything from Crystal, put a comment down below. Also, I did this video last week. Maybe it was the week before, August 27th, whatever that was. And I actually, in this video, I think it was like 7 minutes long. To Crystal's point, I used Zoom. I used my laptop. I used Keynote. Nothing against PowerPoint. Well, actually, I think Keynote's better than PowerPoint, but whatever. I'm on Team Keynote. You guys can do that, but listen to that video. We'll put a link to that down below. So Crystal, we are in the last 4 minutes of this conversation. And I remember when we did our prep call, you mentioned a couple times, making the intangible tangible.
Yes.
I just want to know, what does that mean as it pertains to relationship building as we close out today's call?
So I think one of the things that sets me apart and my clients and my audiences after I speak to them is that they understand the secret sauce for going above and beyond that connects us with other people. So right now, because we're not physically meeting with people as much, it's more important than ever that people have something tangible as a result of our interaction. And so you might be thinking, Crystal, how's that possible if you're meeting by video? There's so many ways. So I like to send customized cards or gifts. I use send out cards or touch note. Either one of those work great. And what happens is if you do a screenshot from your call and you put them on there, you might find their LinkedIn picture. You put a picture of that. If they reference something funny, I mean, I'll give you an example. The way that I gained one of my best grocery clients years ago, I did one presentation for them. They were supposed to send me the video. I went to the office to get the video. They were local. It was like the orange cone, like there was something wrong with the video coming out. And so I told her, just mail it to me when you get a chance, no problem. But I made the comment when the orange cone came up. I said, man, I look kind of orange that day. And we giggled. When she sent me the video, I then sent her a card. And on the front of the card was an orange cone. I took a picture of myself. Now, normally I have a big Afro puff. So I cut off a picture where I had an Afro puff, put it on the cone. And the front of the card said, Cone Crystal says, thank you so much for everything. She thought it was so funny. She passed it on to a director from another department who then hired me for 3 additional events just based on that creativity. I mentioned the bacon gifts. So touch note, send out cards allows you to send customized cards. Send out cards. You can even do it in your own handwriting. You can upload that and send it out. There's additional tools like if you want to blow someone's socks, Fiverr or Cameo. This is more video, but it kind of gives a tangible feel to it. Fiverr is full of weird people. Not only can they edit your video, but there's people that will do Muppets and puppets and anybody you can think of as happy birthday videos and the right voices. Sending things like that to people afterwards based on their likes. So if you know someone loves Disney, having someone do the Disney puppet saying, thank you so much for the meeting. Cameo, you can hire all kinds of actors, singers, social media people. I actually sent out one the other week with Dougie Fresh. I don't know if y'all know who Dougie Fresh is. He's one of the pioneers of hip hop. Sent it to a contact. I sent it to his phone, said, let's get on a Zoom real fast. I watched him open it up. This man was nearly in tears. He was so touched that Dougie Fresh had a message for him. There are innumerable apps where you can send gifts from like the Grommet. That's one that has really unique customized gifts. There's some like Drizzly. If you wanted to send a bottle of wine, be careful. Make sure you know if people actually drink. You don't want anybody falling off the wagon from your gift. But my point is that our interactions should not just be transactional, which Dave, I know you touched on. We have to find ways to show people we saw them. And if it can be tangible or highly customized, and it comes after that last meeting, that is what solidifies the relationship, because at the end, these people see that you see them. And right now, when people are so overwhelmed, and we talked about the way that the world has shifted, if you let people know that you see them and you make them feel special, that is going to carry you through no matter what the market is doing.
Love, love, love this conversation. Hopefully I can get you back into the community. And I can tell already, I'm so funny that you brought that up and the way you described that, because I had just made a note over the weekend that I'm going to create a series of videos called Going from Ordinary to Extraordinary. And it was all about personalization and I was doing it, how could you use Mortgage Coach to go from ordinary to extraordinary, but you just put another color around it. So maybe I can get you back and we'll just talk about that, and that will be what we talk about for an hour. Would that be cool?
I would love that.
So I think you should be on a lot of stages in the mortgage industry. You know, your expertise as a salesperson, your passion for technology, you're an incredible presenter. If someone wanted to hire you for an in-person keynote, a virtual keynote, they just wanted to consult with you, how would someone get a hold of you?
They can just go to my website, crystalwashington.com, crystal spelled like a rock crystal, crystalwashington.com, and all the contact information is there. There's a meeting professionals tab where they can get all the information that they need about hiring me beforehand, so that we can make sure that when we do connect, I can customize the presentation to their needs.
Love that, guys. So you know I'm passionate to modernize the mortgage industry. And to me, that means delivering something that's more valuable to families. Yes, it involves using technology, but loan officers need to do that. For any executive that's on this call, you should reach out. For any loan officer that thinks Crystal would be an awesome speaker at your next sales rally, let the management team know. Maybe forward them a link to this video saying Crystal would make a great speaker at one of our upcoming virtual or in-person events. So Crystal, I'm grateful for the time you took. You tailored it, you know, you personalized this. Guys, if you think that Crystal crushed it, give us a like, whether you're watching this in Facebook or YouTube. If you love it, love it. And please share it with your team. I think there was a lot of value in today's call, both inspirationally and tactically. So share this. Crystal, thank you so much. And I look forward to our next time together.
Thank you.
Take care. This call's a wrap.